Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel once again, and welcome back to my reviews. Thanks for being here, and let's get right into it. So once again I have been looking at the bargain bin in the comic shop, and I found this little ditty for £1, and it is the July-August 1996 WWF, then now WWE, Raw magazine. So there you go. So if you don't like wrestling and you're not a fan of wrestling, and this is not my usual stuff that I do, you can tune out now. But yeah, if you like it, stick around. So we've got the front cover there. We've got the original Raw, Monday Night Raw. Welcome to Monday Night Raw. As I actually say it, Vince, didn't he? Brilliant. So we've got in the top corner there, we've got Melina, who was Terry Runnels, wasn't it? Exposing the woman behind the gold. She was with Goldust at the time. So all for the mature fan. Oh dear. So there you go, you've got Vince and Raw. McMahon comments on why Diesel left the World Wrestling Federation. Now, you guys may remember this, as if you're wrestling fans, as the time that Razor Ramon, Scott Hall and Diesel, Kevin Nash moved over to WCW due to, I don't know what it was, I don't know the history of it, but they moved over there, and DX did that whole stint, didn't they, where they took the tank to WCW, and we want Scott Hall and Kevin Nash back. It was quite funny, wasn't it? Now, as you guys know, I spoke about this before, I am a big WCW fan, always have been. I like WWF, but the real wrestling I got to watch, because it was actually on, British television, was WCW, and it was late on a Saturday evening, normally about 1 or midnight, I think it was, and I'm trying to remember, but I think it might have been on Channel 5, but it was always followed up by Tour of Duty, or Tour of Duty, the Vietnam TV series was always on either before or after, I can't remember. But my mum and dad, thank goodness, could never work out how to do the timer and on the video, which was always a blessing, because my mum managed to convince my dad it wasn't fair that I didn't get to watch it, so I got to stay up. It was like Saturday or Friday or Saturday evening, I can't remember, but he used to have WCW Worldwide, and on there was obviously the great Ron Simmons, the Total Package, Surfer Sting, Diamond Stud, when Scott Hall was the Diamond Stud, obviously Kevin Nash when he was Oz, and I just like that era. The Z-Man, Tom Zenk, you just had a great era of WCW. Gordon Soley used to do the rundowns, didn't he, of who was who and who was doing what. So yeah, I really liked that. That was my wrestling. I had to go and see my friend because we never had a satellite dish, and my friend down the road, he had a satellite dish, so I used to be able to go down there and watch the main events and stuff like that, because the main events were always on Sky, weren't they? And we certainly didn't have Sky in my house, that was for sure. Playing the old violin there, guys, just but yeah, so I had to go around to his house, so we used to get to watch like stuff like WrestleMania and Survivor Series, and all them sort of shows were always on Sky. So yeah, I didn't get to watch it as much, but WCW was my and I used to get my main information from the WCW magazine back then, the World Championship Wrestling magazine, which was really cool. Yeah, so let's get back into this again. So I'm ranting on about myself here. So this is a bit battered, it's got a few bits cut out of it and stuff like that, but it is an old magazine, 1996. Also, The Scars of War, Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels engage in a Crimson War. I liked him, very skillful, when Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels are both technical wrestlers, weren't they? Technical was the word I was looking for there. Who was the greatest tag team of all time? Now that is a very, 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 very difficult one to answer, isn't it? Going through the years, you've got some greats, haven't you? Doom, Demolition, the Enforcers, Rock and Roll Express, the Rockers, Legion of Doom, LOD. Do you know what I mean? You had some such great tag teams back then. Even some of the unheard of ones like the Patriots were good, weren't they? I like the Patriots in WCW. The Young Pistols or the Wild Eyed Southern Boys as they were before that. You know, then coming into the future, didn't it? Like Beer Money and different tag teams like that. There were, what were they? There was just so many good ones. You couldn't keep going for. Even like the Bushwhackers, wasn't it? They were funny, weren't they? The Bushwhackers. I like them. Money Incorporated. Such great teams. There was all such great tag teams that did their own thing, wasn't it? That worked together, and you know, Matt and Jeff Hardy, weren't it? You had such good teams. Dudleys. You know, this is the point where you don't want to leave anyone out, isn't it? Where people go to you, what about this person? What about this person? You think, well, okay, yeah, you're right. And there's so many, but a few of my good ones there. Yeah. So who was the greatest tag team of all time? We just don't know, do we? Fantasy Warfare, Bruno Sammartino versus Bret the Hitman Hart. That would have been a slobber knocker, as Jim Ross would have said, wouldn't it? Vader time. Yeah, I liked Vader. I actually preferred Vader. I really liked Vader. I think he had a really good run, didn't he? When he had that big old feud with Bret Hart. Stone Cold Steve Austin was first coming in as this, you know, crazy bad guy, weren't it? Sid Vicious, or Sid Justice, or Psycho Sid, as he was known as, and Diesel, wasn't it? They were all sort of feuding together at the same time, weren't they? That was pretty cool, wasn't it? But I like Vader when he was in WCW, early days, WCW World Championship Wrestling, when he used to have that great big, it was like a samurai, almost like samurai, sort of rhino style of helmet, weren't it? It was like a great big massive unit that used to sit on top of his head, and he used to blow out like the hot smoke, didn't it? And he used to put people's faces in it, didn't it? That was when he was at his best, because I didn't like his mask when he was in WWF, but or WWE as it is now. But yeah, I really didn't like that. I liked the mask he had originally, the all black one with the red eyes around, sort of almost like a black Spider-Man mask. He looked really cool in that. Welcome to the Asylum with your host, Mankind. He was brilliant, wasn't he? Mick Foley. He just went with the times, didn't he? He changed characters. He upped himself, didn't he? I love Cactus Jack. I remember him in the early days of WCW when he was feuding with Sting and Bill Kazmaier, the great Bill Kazmaier, obviously, former world's strongest man, the Kaz, a monster of a deadlift, that man. Great bench presser. Bill Kazmaier, yeah, in the WCW when they were having that big feud, you know, with Abdullah the Butcher, Cactus Jack, obviously, and yeah, Sting with those boxes. That was a great feud. But yeah, I liked him in WWF. He'd done so well in WWF, in the WWE, when he became the champion, and he used to have the boiler room matches, and he used to do skits with Vince, didn't he? They were so funny, weren't they? When Vince is in the hospital and he's doing Mr. Sacco, and winding him up, yeah. So really, really good. I really like those skits. But he took some bumps, that guy. You know, I mean, people always talk about wrestling being fake and saying, yeah, this is fake, this is that, you know, this is this, this is that. You try being chucked over that top rope and landing on that floor without hurting yourself. I don't care how good a stuntman you are. Right, some of the bumps these guys take are incredible, and even the punches, you know, all right, they're skimming some of the time, but you can see some of them are like proper stingers, and like, yeah, it's got to hurt. It's got to hurt. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, the outcome, you know, we talk about the outcome and we think, well, yeah, it's, you know, we kind of know who's going to win it, so this and that. No, it's very technical. It goes with the crowd and stuff like that. If someone puts full power behind something, like from judo where you do break falls and stuff like that, yeah, there is a way to absorb impact, but you can only absorb so much. So if anyone says that wrestling's totally fake, I mean, you've got to really look at the science of it and think, well, no, that injuries don't come from totally fake, do they? So yeah, it is a tough sport, isn't it? And I think it is, and you know, but yeah, there we go. So we got off topic a little bit, but Mankind, yeah, he took some major league bumps, that man, didn't he? That Hell in a Cell was just absolutely captivating to the crowd, wasn't it? The crowd were like, well, they just couldn't believe it, could they, what was going on? But I mean, yeah. So this is Raw magazine again of July, August 1996. So it was £2.50 in 1996. That's actually quite dear. It's printed in the US for the United Kingdom. But that's actually quite dear when you think about it at that time period. So there's the front. It's falling apart a bit, guys, but for £1, for £1, I can't really argue, you know. So features, we've got on the cover, Vince McMahon interviews Diesel on Monday Night Raw. Vince Raw. Vince speaks his mind. We got Yo, remember that guy? Whatever happened to The Rock? Dynamic Duo was the greatest Federation tag team of all time. Dynamic Duos, who was the greatest Federation tag team of all time? Sorry, I'm reading like a bit of an idiot there. Marlena exposed, the woman behind the gold, like you've never seen her before. Who will wear the crown? Odds on, who will be crowned King of the Ring? That was always a good match, wasn't it? That was what made Stone Cold, really, weren't it? When he had that match with Jake the Snake, weren't it, with the bad ribs? When he started ribbing him about his religion and stuff, and doing his sort of 316 speech was iconic, wasn't it? From the belly of the beast, it's Mankind. The Scars of War. Shawn steps up to the dish. Very talented man, Shawn Michaels, wasn't he? I mean, you hear a lot about him outside the ring, don't you, and stuff, but his in-ring ability, you couldn't fault it, could you? He was just great. I liked his I loved his feuds with Brett. It was just a shame that it went the way it went, you know. I always remember, and it always cracks me up, and I still think it's one of the funniest things in around that time period, with the barbershop skint, when Shawn Michaels throws Marty Jannetty through that barbershop window, and then Bobby Heenan, bless him, the king of he was the king of commentary, no doubt about it, said, what a coward, look at Jannetty, tries to jump out the window and escape from Michaels, what a coward. It always cracks me up. Only Bobby Heenan would have timed that so perfect. It was so funny, and it always makes me laugh, because that barbershop was a segment, wasn't it, where the Rockers finally broke away from each other, wasn't it? And they finally went down the road of Michaels was going to be a singles wrestler, wasn't he? Because he was a singles wrestler, weren't he? Don't get me wrong. The Rockers were great. They were really good. But Shawn Michaels was a single wrestler. Scars of War. Shawn steps up to the dish. Vader time is now. Just ask Yokozuna. Wow, what a competitor that guy was, Yokozuna. Him and Vader. Cool, that would have been some meat in the ring, wouldn't it? Imagine the weight of that in the ring. That would have been some heavyweight clashing. Yeah, Yokozuna. That sit-down splash he used to do. I mean, he must have done it good, but it always looked so painful, didn't it? So, yeah. I like Yokozuna. I love that skint he did with Lex on the Battleship with the Body Slam Challenge, weren't it? When they first did the old Lex Luger, I'll be your hero thing. Yeah, Lex Express, wasn't it? The night the belt changed hands. Demolition versus Strike Force. See, another good tag team there, Strike Force. Demolition were brilliant, and I think they got done dirty when Legion of Doom Road Warriors came to WWF. It was a shame, because Demolition were like WWF's answer to Road Warriors, weren't they? But really, I liked Demolition. They were their own entity, weren't they? Axe and Smash, they were brilliant. And later Crush, I even liked that angle when they did the third man. You know, Fuji, obviously, Mr. Fuji was like, he was something else, wasn't he, as a manager? And I started the way he hit him with a cane, didn't he? He used to get involved, didn't he? And he was, yeah. And then later on, he, I think he managed Yokozuna, didn't he? He used to hit him with a stick, didn't he? Brilliant. The Hitman versus the Living Legend. Yep, so Bret the Hitman Hart there. Brilliant technical wrestler. You can't fault his wrestling ability. He obviously his career got cut short, didn't it? But I loved his feud with Stone Cold. His feud with Stone Cold was the best, especially when he done that run of being like the whiny Bret Hitman. He did that whiny Bret Hitman, didn't he? I really liked him when he did that because he came quite a good heel, didn't he? I thought he played a brilliant heel, which is a credit to his, his abilities to be able to switch up from a babyface to a heel, because not everyone can do it, can they? See old Vader there. Vader time. See, like I say, I didn't like that mask. I wasn't a fan of that one. I like the all black one with the red eyes. I thought that was good. Okay. So what we got here then? So we got a note from the editor and a subscription. Obviously, all these old magazines should have subscription column, didn't they? Where you could fill them out and do like a year's subscription or something. So a 2-year subscription at this time was 12 issues for $19.97. You could save 58%. 1 year, you'd only save 49%, but it'd only cost you $11.97. Payment enclosed. Remember that when you used to put checks in? 1996, yeah. And you had to send it to Stamford, Connecticut, to get it set up. So there's Gold Dust. Yeah, I liked Dustin Rhodes. I thought he done his good stuff with his good stuff was when he was with Booker T. Him and Booker T was so funny together. Booker T is a natural, as well as having amazing ability. That's another great tag team we didn't mention, isn't it? Harlem Heat. I mean, they were amazing, weren't they? But Booker T could, singles tag team wrestler. He was just fantastic, wasn't he? He was such an athlete. But he's one of those guys he could make you laugh, couldn't he? Like his run with Stone Cold when he did the supermarket. That was just so funny, wasn't it? It was just unbelievable. And yeah, but yeah, I think Gold Dust was very good. I liked him as the natural Dustin Rhodes in WCW. But looking at it from a adult point of view, it wasn't going to go nowhere, that character. It didn't have enough or anything behind it other than his pure wrestling skill, which sometimes you just need the entertainment, don't you? So yeah, I liked him, Gold Dust. I think he was very good. And like I say, his stints with Booker were just unbelievable, weren't they? Someone's cut out a page here, look. But for £1, I can't argue. I can't argue for £1. I can't argue it. So you're there. You've got Vince McMahon, Mr. Perfect, and Diesel at the commentary desk. Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, rest his soul. He was fantastic, wasn't he? I loved Mr. Perfect. He was so arrogant, wasn't he? When I was younger, I used to think he was so arrogant. I used to absolutely hate him. But that's his job, isn't it? And I said that about Rick Rude. When you look at people like Rick Rude and Kurt Hennig, as a kid, you hate them, don't you? You think, oh my God, they're so horrible. They're so, I wish someone would beat them up. I wish someone would get them. But that's what they wanted, because that's what their job was, to make you hate them. And that was how they become a good heel. And yeah, Kurt Hennig was one of the best. When you look at now, back at his skill and his ability, combined with his, his ability to make you hate him, he was brilliant. When he used to do that towel, throwing a towel up behind him and catching it, and the bubblegum slap he used to do, he spit the bubblegum out and slap it, didn't he? Brilliant. And I always loved that match where they made him look really good. It was a Survivor Series where I think Demolition got into it with LOD and they all got disqualified. And Mr. P had to handle things on his own, and he handled business up until like the Ultimate Warrior, and then I think they got beaten up by the Ultimate Warrior. But yeah, tons of talent in that, man. Tons of talent. And I actually liked Vince on commentary. I really liked Vince on commentary. When he was with Jesse Ventura, he was absolutely brilliant, wasn't he? So there he is, with the old WWF blazer. Do you remember that? It's crazy, isn't it? Vince McMahon takes on Ted Turner. So was this about the time maybe that the Monday Night Wars were about to start? Because that was what ruined WCW for me. WCW tried to, you know, become WWE and WWF, and I don't know. I just didn't like it. I think they should have stayed the way they were, because WCW was close to early wrestling. What you would have seen early on in the WWE before the Attitude Era broke. Because there's different eras, ain't there, of wrestling. And I'm a bit of an old-fashioned guy. Jerry the King Lawler. He was a good heel commentator. I liked him. Also liked him as a wrestler as well. It was funny. I still admit, for me, one of his funniest moments was when he went into that Royal Rumble and he literally got in the ring. He was doing a bit of a showboating when he gets punched over the top rope. And he goes back to the Destiny and he's got concussion and he can't remember if he even entered or who he was or where he was. I think it was Bret Hart eliminated him or something like that. But yeah, it was brilliant skin where he literally couldn't remember who he was or where he was. There's a Big Daddy Cool Diesel. He was a big man, wasn't he? Kevin Nash. He was just a big man, wasn't he? But he was a bit injury prone, wasn't he? I think he used to get injured quite a bit. I think he used to tear his hamstrings and stuff. He's tall, wasn't he? So, you know, he used to use those big boots, didn't he? They used to do the big boot like Hogan used to do, didn't he? That's a hamstring smasher any day of the week, isn't it? But yeah, I liked Kevin Nash. I remember when he returned to Vinny Vegas, didn't he? And then he sort of found himself with Diesel, didn't he? A little bit. But then he just become the big sexy character, didn't he, in WCW? And that's when he sort of really found his sort of spot, didn't he, as part of the NWO and all that. And I think sometimes in wrestling it takes a long time to find your spot, don't it? But he kind of found it, didn't he? Oh, the original Rock, Don Morocco. No one ever calls him that anymore, do they? He was actually called The Rock, wasn't he? Before, obviously, Dwayne Johnson. Has earned him the nickname The Rock during the periods, you see. So then he became I think the Magnificent One, didn't he? And he used to jump from heel to good guy, like, throughout his career, didn't he? What a tank of a man, though. He was built like a tank, wasn't he? Yeah, he used to lift some weights. Definitely. Never really... I don't think they used him as good as they could have done. But, yeah. Back then as well, they didn't have many gimmicks, did they? It was more just a pair of trunks, and if they liked you, they liked you. Yeah. So there he is when he was paired up with Mr. Fuji. Very cool. Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man. What a guy. I liked him when he was paired up with IRS. I think that's when he had his best run as Money Incorporated. Yeah, I really liked DiBiase. He was a good heel, DiBiase. He had lots of different feuds with other people and stuff like that. He was very good. And I like the way he was always trying to buy his way out of stuff. Everybody's got a price, wasn't it? It was the same, wasn't it? Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Amazing physique. And his ring ability, obviously amazing athlete. Obviously horrific sort of way to end up. There's the immortal Hulk Hogan. We all loved as children, didn't we? Say your prayers, take your vitamins. No longer with us anymore, sadly, wasn't it? Only died recently. But a lot of these people, you know, as much as they you know, don't like Hogan for what he did for wrestling, you can't deny it, can you? He helped elevate it, didn't he? Him and some other him and other wrestlers elevated wrestling, didn't they? You know, it didn't take one person to do it, but it certainly took a few. Shawn Michaels and Diesel. Crazy Bob Backlund. He was nuts, wasn't he? Brilliant. As I was saying, Money Incorporated. They were very good. There's a few bits and bobs doing the rounds at the moment. Mike Rotunda isn't very well, isn't it? Professor Toru Tanaka, Mr. Fuji. Look at that. How old is that? I always remember him when he was in Running Man. He's great, wasn't he? Sub-Zero. Billy and Bart Gunn. Billy Gunn, he went on and on forever, didn't he? Went into DX and everything, didn't he? So his career went on for a long time, didn't it? There's the old Wild Samoans there. Beast, them Samoan lads, aren't they? Always absolute beasts, aren't they? Haku, he's crazy, isn't he? Great wrestler though. Oh, Demolition, Axe and Smash. Their music was fantastic, wasn't it? Demolition. It's the old Hart Foundation there. Another great tag team. Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Bret the Hitman Hart. What team? And obviously British Bulldogs. No longer with us anymore. Spookily, isn't it? It's absolutely spooky how the late Chris Benoit obviously resembled, you know, Dynamite Kid. Even looked his physique even looked like him. His wrestling style even resembled him. You know, it's almost like it was a carbon copy of him. It was amazing. Very skilled wrestler. You know, got injured, didn't he? Couldn't wrestle anymore. And Davey Boy, obviously, he smashed his back up, didn't he, on a trapdoor during a match. But he was powerful, wasn't he, Davey Boy? Oh my God. I see his matches with Warlord. Him and Warlord, what great matches they were. Absolutely fantastic. You couldn't fault them both for the wrestling ability, like the power ability and skill. Yeah, Davey Boy Smith was brilliant, weren't he? And obviously, you know, when he springed at Winston the dog down to the ring, didn't they? Want to be a pro wrestler? Adverts there for back then, where you could join like different, I guess it was like territories and stuff like that, I guess, and do training. Warriors World. He was just mental, that man, wasn't he? He just non-stop go, wasn't he, that Warrior? There was no stopping him. Some of his promos were like, they just got off the rails, weren't they? But yeah, as a kid, you thought, you know, it was brilliant, didn't you? So, oh, here we go. The Lady in Gold. Terry Runnels, Melena. Brilliant. Yeah, she was a great diva, weren't she? There was some fantastic divas, weren't there? I was always a big Lita fan. Big Lita fan. Yeah. So if you you know, whoever it is, whoever's interested, you know, what was your diva of choice? So there's some glamour shots of Terry Runnels there. Gold Dust with the Oscar or something, whatever it was. Yeah, that's enough of that, guys. You've had your fill, right? Far too. That become Rikishi, didn't he? He was very smaller back then, wasn't he? Than his main run in WWE. Billy Gunn. Skip the Body, Donis. Jake the Snake was good, didn't he? I loved the old DDT. Marty Jannetty. Savio Vega, he was good, wasn't he? I used to like his little feuds with the old like Rebel Stone Cold, or the baddie Stone Cold. Broadway comics. There he is, the evolution of madness. Sparkplug Holly. Do you remember when he was Sparkplug Holly? Bob Holly. Hardcore Holly. Yeah, he took a long time to build up to old Hardcore Holly, didn't he? He was in and out, wasn't he? He was always a well-built bloke, though, wasn't he, Bob Holly? He had a great physique, didn't he? That old mask must have been uncomfortable to wear all the time, mustn't it? Mankind. Some of the stuff he used to do, mate, was absolutely crazy, weren't it? That like leg drop he used to do off the edge of the bloody ring and just throw himself at someone over the top rope. He was crazy, wasn't he? But yeah, he was great entertainer, wasn't he? It's the great Shawn Michaels. This is when he's feuding with Owen Hart, the late Owen Hart. Tragic. Shawn Michaels still looks good today, though, doesn't he? He still looks well, and you know, bearing in mind his younger days, he was a bit of a wild man, wasn't he? Off the old set and that, you know, a lot of them were, weren't they? These wrestler guys. But yeah, he used to take some real good bumps, didn't he? Him. Owen Hart was another great technical wrestler, wasn't he? Bless him, you know, brilliant. I always liked Owen Hart when he used to again, same as Bret Hart, he had that way of being like this whiny baddie, didn't he? And he used to do the Slammies, didn't he? The Slammy Awards. I think he was brilliant, Owen. Yeah, he was very fast, Owen Hart, wasn't he? Above all, against all odds, Shawn came back, ending the match with the sound of sweet chin music. Yeah, he didn't. He certainly commanded a lot of wins, didn't he, Shawn Michaels? So this was the feud of Vader with Yokozuna. Jim Cornette's a funny guy, isn't he? I used to like him when he was with Midnight Express. Another great tag team I didn't mention. Yeah, but that Yokozuna, he was amazing, wasn't he? I mean, you just wouldn't expect him to move like that, would you? The way he used to move, he used to do those like back kicks and, you know. Yeah, he was brilliant, wasn't he? Vader had a bit of a reputation of being a bit stiff, didn't he? But, you know, I think that was part of his character, wasn't it? He was just vicious, wasn't he? I mean, a guy like that doing a moonsault, I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? Oh, there you go. So Vader's attacking Yokozuna in the ambulance. I used to love those ambulance scenes they used to do, didn't I? Still like the one where Stone Cold attacks Bret Hart in the ambulance, doesn't he? There'll never be enough punishment for Bret the Hitman Hart, he used to say, didn't he? Yeah, fantastic stuff. But you used to literally, didn't you, go to school thinking, I mean, if you're, you know, around this age, you used to literally go to school thinking, oh, I can't wait till Saturday to see Yokozuna get beat up by so-and-so, you know, or, you know, Mr. Perfect. Someone will finally get Bobby Heenan or something, you know. Because he's like, now, Bobby Heenan is like my, you know, one of my wrestling heroes now. I just love listening to him talk and watching what he done and watching it back, especially on prime time. Him, Gorilla, and obviously Piper. Absolutely amazing together. Demolition there. Tito Santana. And with Jesse Ventura always used to call him Chico Santana, didn't he? He wouldn't say his name properly, would he? As a heel commentator. It's the old model Rick Martel there. And they were Strike Force, weren't they? Feuding with Strike Force. He done quite well, model Rick Martel as a good guy, didn't he? But I think he was definitely a bad guy, wasn't he? He really found himself when he was a bad guy, wasn't it? There's the fantasy battle, guys. Bruno versus Bret. Who would take it, guys? We just don't know. We just don't know. That sharpshooter always looked painful, didn't it? There you go. There's a cartoon. And someone's cut the back up. There's a bit of a warrior there. He was an absolute maniac, weren't he, the warrior? So there you go, guys. We've gone through July and August of 1996. WWF Now, WWE Raw magazine. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Drop something in the comments, guys, about what you think of wrestling, who you like and who was your favourites and what's your favourite stories. I'm always happy to chat in the comments. So take care now. Thank you. Bye-bye.